billions of dollars for this stupid project that should have never been built.
California's high-speed rail project. It's set to one day connect Los Angeles and San Francisco, and eventually San Diego and Sacramento.
The nation's first high-speed rail system. Want to do well in the future? You got to invest in the future.
The state has already spent about $15 billion on it over the last decade and a half, while the total cost projections for the full project have ballooned from the original $45 billion estimate presented to voters in 2008 to anywhere between $88 to $128 billion today. The first phase, running from Kern County to Merced, is scheduled for completion by 2033. AB 1608 would bar the Inspector General from releasing what the bill describes as project weaknesses, including security risks, fraud controls, and pending lawsuits.
We are not trying to hide anything. We want maximum transparency and maximum accountability to this project.
It's our money. California doesn't have a revenue problem. It has a wasteful spending problem, and it has an accountability and transparency problem. And this bill lacks transparency and accountability. In fact, it takes it the other direction.
Stupid project that should have never been built.
The two things before we get going. Love that clip by Trump saying this stupid project. And then the lady who's bringing this project in as a bill, what is her name? Lori Wilson, saying that the way that she's going to maximize transparency is to make things not transparent. And you're left with like, what? What are you saying? What are you stating? That makes no sense at all. No sense at all. You know what? I think people in these Democrat-run states get so beaten over the head by their legislators just feeding them absolute crap that they're like, oh yeah. I mean, we want to maximize transparency by making things not transparent. Makes absolute sense to me. It's like, we want to not allow our law enforcement to work with other law enforcement on law enforcement issues. Makes total sense to me. We want to protest for no kings on President's Day. Yeah, makes no sense. Just, you know what I mean? Just, yeah. The auditor of California's high-speed rail authority wants the power to keep certain records confidential. Why? What are we hiding here, boys? Girls? What are we hiding here? Drawing concerns from transparency advocates. Yeah. That the agency should shield vital information about a controversial and costly public infrastructure project from the public. This is the wildest debacle in the United States from a public project standpoint. Billions of dollars have been spent. Not a single track is up and running. They absolutely effed up the land acquisition, didn't do anything sequentially, didn't get their route squared away. They've moved things around, and that's how you spend $15 billion, and you don't really have anything to show for it. Well, we've got some sites lined up. We've got some prelim architecture. We've got some designs. It's looking good on paper. $15 billion later. Assembly Bill 1608, authored by Assembly Transportation Committee Chair Lori Wilson, who has zero Assembly Transportation Committee experience. But hey, let's throw her in there and let's have her work on transparency. It's what we're doing. Would allow the Inspector General overseeing the High-Speed Rail Authority, who, again, is responsible for a boondoggle of a project, to withhold records that the official believes would reveal weakness. You mean the fact that it's a boondoggle project? That kind of weakness? That it shouldn't have ever been this? You know what? I don't have a problem with the original concept. I have a problem with California trying to put it together, because anything you do in a Democrat-led state ends up like this, because they have no leadership. It's just everybody running around playing grab ass. And nothing happening. Now, you put this in Texas, you put this in Oklahoma, you put this in Florida, I think you'd have put it in Idaho. None of those states need this kind of massive project to get from, southeast to the northwest within that state. And it would really benefit, arguably, the constituents of California to be able to have this high-speed transport back and forth. But building it has been such an absolute catastrophe, 100% catastrophe. The federal government clawed back, $4 billion not that long ago and said, no, go F yourselves. We're not spending any money on your ridiculous project. Legislation appears to have the blessing of Governor Gavin Newsom. Of course it does, because this is one of those projects. This is one of those buyer objections, meaning the general voting population looks at Gavin Newsom and they've got just a laundry list of objections. Highest inflation, highest poverty level, highest housing costs, highest of all the things you don't want, most homelessness. 1 in 200 Californians are homeless. I mean, the list just goes on. Highest gas prices. It's phenomenal. And this is one more that Republicans can say, hey, yo, podcaster Newsom, how about that? How about that $1 billion boondoggle you got going on with the high-speed rail there? Have you laid any tracks? Have you done a test run of that first, what was it, Merced to Bakersfield? Have you test run that bad boy yet? Has anybody got some footage of that? Oh, no? You're not even close? And it was supposed to be done by 2020, and it's 2026. And now we've got an estimate for the first, connecting to be done in 2033 at a cost of $117 to $128 billion. $100 billion over budget. But hey, who's counting? Because we've got bills like this that will allow transparency to not happen and cover Gavin Newsom for his presidential run in 2028. Perfect. So it's got the blessings of Governor Gavin Newsom. His administration released a nearly identical budget trailer bill, a vehicle for the governor and legislative leaders to adopt major reforms swiftly with minimal public input. Interesting. Yeah, here we go. The rail line, designed to connect San Francisco and LA, approved by voters in 2008. I was just on the front end of a massive divorce and my life just cascading out of control with the Great Repression, great recession, not repression. I wasn't repressed. I mean, I was, but Great Recession coming. I had, dual factor of that, and I'm a real estate guy. It was just horrific. We got through that. Here we are, right? At the time, it was estimated to cost $33 billion in 2008, be completed by 6 years ago. Now estimated more than $100 billion, with only a 171-mile segment connecting Merced and Bakersfield planned for completion by 2033. So way more money, way less of a route. And now we want to make that not transparent so that we boost transparency. Okay. All right. Okay. It is. U.S. Representative Kevin Kiley, Rockland Republican, has fiercely criticized it as a waste of money and introduced legislation to gut federal funding for it. It's a stupid project. You know what? I don't agree with everything Donald Trump says. And if you do, you know what? Be your own thinker. But when he says something like that's a stupid project, I'm 100% down because it is. The original concept was great, but do we really need this? And the way that it's been put into fruition, into construction, is like any other Democrat-run project in a Democrat-run majority state. It's a boondoggle. It's an absolute, it's a straight-up shenanigan, right? It just is. It is. What could go wrong? Let's spend hundreds of billions of dollars. And what could go wrong? The only way we'll get out that level of transparency and accountability that the legislature requires is to make sure that our Inspector General's office, who are technically the eyes and ears of the public, have every protection they need to be able to take the full deep dive without hindrance. I'm sorry. What? So you want the Inspector General to basically reduce the level of transparency to increase the transparency because the eyes and ears of the public are the Inspector General's office? I feel like I'm taking a page out of AOC's recent international speech tour. God, have you seen the videos on that? Atrocious. She was answering about Venezuela being below the equator, and then there's all these memes of just showing it's on the north end, it's directly north of the equator. And then AOC talking about how cowboys from Spain weren't the original drivers of the American cowboy. And okay, all right, she's just retarded. She really is. This is a wholesale atom bomb on disclosure, says Chuck Champion. That's a great name, Chuck Champion. What's your name? I'm Chuck Champion. Nice to meet you. You are a champion, Chuck. President of the California News Publishers Association. Wholesale atom bomb on disclosure. Measures drawing opposition from Republicans who already consider the project a failure. Assembly member Alexandria Macedo, a Republican, said it is insulting that the project began when she was in middle school and remains far from complete. Now, I'm going to assume that she is a fully grown adult at this point in time. When you start talking about middle school, well, they started this when I was in middle school, and now I have 3 children, and one's about to get a tattoo, and the other are threatening to leave the house. But hey, what's $100 billion on the light rail transit project to nowhere? It's wild, right? As far as I'm concerned, every ounce of this project should be available for public consumption. It should be presented factually and entirety to the entire legislative body, she said. Yeah, I think that is what, taxpayers, constituents, that's what they deserve. Full transparency. Put it out there, warts and all, because it's already a project that's going nowhere. And it's going nowhere fast. And California is running out of money. Californians have a Californian leaving every minute and 44 seconds. A California taxpayer leaves California and goes away, taking their tax revenue with them. Now, when you have an exodus of that nature year after year after year, it's going to have impacts on your ability to raise tax revenue. This is one of those projects that I don't know will get finished in my lifetime. Maybe a small segment of it does, from one 7-Eleven to another. Hey, look, guys, we went 3 blocks and only cost us $95 billion. Man, you can go from that 7-Eleven to that 7-Eleven, 200 miles an hour, and you get there in 12 seconds. Epic. I mean, this is what California needs. I mean, talk about being able to get your Slurpee. Good Lord. Your Slurpee and your Penthouse magazine. I think that's what the term was way back in the day, right? Because that's all you bought at 7-Eleven. Times have changed. If any project should have intense transparency and scrutiny, it's the high-speed rail. Chuck Champion. I mean, that is just... Oh. When asked about the language, the author of the bill, Wilson, said that she expects the proposal will be honed in on through the legislative process. We're going to hone in on this, which was, we felt, a good starting point to reduce transparency on something that you are claiming you are increasing the transparency on. Yeah, but it's troubling whenever lawmakers seek to further shield public agencies from disclosure requirements, especially a watchdog agency overseeing such a controversial project, the Rowan Champion said. I mean, this is the fact that this is coming up to me, that this is where we're at. We're just going to bury the facts. We're going to bury anything coming up, because anything coming up at this point is not good news, because you lose when you win. Hey, we just finished this segment up. Yeah? How long did it take you? Well, we've been working on it since 2008. How much over budget did you go completing that segment? A lot. And how long is it going to take you extrapolating what you just completed? This is if they ever complete anything. Extrapolating what it cost us to get here relative to the whole project. How long do you think that's going to take? Good Lord, I'll be dead. All right. Thank you for being transparent. That is actual transparency. How much money have you spent? What'd you spend it on? What's this looking like towards the future? You know what? We'll never have an accurate telling of what this looks like in the future, because if they did, boom, all support would get cut off for it. I mean, Californians, how do you guys support this? And then what if it doesn't go? What if funding absolutely gets cut off for this? I mean, at one point in time, is the technology you started with when you originally designed all this and designed the tracks, at what point does that become completely obsolete in your design process, let alone your engineering and everything else? At what point in time does this just become an absolute waste of time, money, resources, and then we try and make it more transparent to the public by making it less transparent? Is that where we're at? I think so. That's where we're at. This is just a massive cover-up. And they're telling us it's not a cover-up because the cover-up makes it less of a cover-up. Wild stuff. Thanks so much for being here. Love to have you subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.